We need it. Oxygen is why we breathe.
Don't forget to follow Grit Daily News as well as me, your host, Loralyn Mears, everywhere on social media. And how about throwing 4 or 5 stars our way if you're listening to Apple or Spotify? Subscribe to our show. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Grit Daily podcast. We are now in season 3, rebranded as The Grit Files, Startup Stories. And I'm your host, Loralyn Mears. So of course, we want to kick things off by saying be sure that you're following Grit Daily and me and subscribing to our show, Spotify, podcast, all the social media, all the stuff. But enough of that. We've got an amazing guest, well, we always do, in the house here today. We've got Sachin Jhangiani, and he is the founder of Elevate Money. And if you're thinking, how do you go up and down in an elevator and bring money? Do you get wealth? Well, it's kind of sort of like that, but not exactly. He is democratizing access to generational wealth by making it easy, $100 at a time, to invest in real estate, by providing information, education, and access that was, well, pretty much previously only available to the multi-gazillionaires on the planet. So with that, welcome, Sachin.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're excited because you're doing something that can really help people make a change, not only in financial freedom, but generational wealth for their offspring. So let's talk a little bit about a quick introduction to Elevate Money.
Absolutely. Thank you. Elevate Money is a new platform that we recently launched. And again, what we do is we buy commercial real estate assets, pull them together in a portfolio. So otherwise, if you were to try to do that yourself, you would need, like you said, millions of dollars to go and buy one asset, let alone 5, 10, 15, 20. But through Elevate Money, the average investor can now access that portfolio by as little as $100. So for $100, you get a fractional interest in all the assets in our REIT portfolio. So currently, we have one property. As we raise money, we buy the second one, which we're about to do, and then third, fourth, and fifth. And every time we buy that, you now have a prorated share of that entire portfolio. So you can have several different assets, earn cash flow from this portfolio, and you don't have to be a millionaire to start. You can do it for little as $100.
Well, fantastic. So getting right to the heart of what we're doing here, because it is the Grit Files. As a startup founder, talk to us about the grittiest experience you've had to gut your way through.
Well, to be honest, it was just getting out of getting this thing launched and out of the ground. And the reality is that when you have an idea, the idea is exciting. And then when you try to put it to work, there's a lot of challenges that come your way. First and foremost, we had to raise capital. We had to pitch our story, get people to believe in us, believe in the team, and then execute that strategy. We've had challenges all the way from product development to being able to market ourselves and create a message that was relevant to the audience that we're trying to reach. This is an audience that's been ignored for a really long time. And so, they haven't had anybody speak to them directly about investing in real estate. So we had to find a nuance there. And then, we've got, we're SEC registered, we're regulated by FINRA. So we've got a lot of, not hurdles, but things to keep in mind that we would otherwise not have to do had we just focused on millionaire investors.
Yeah, you got some red tape there. That's for sure, right? But you've got through it. So how did the idea for Elevate Money come up originally?
Well, actually, it was from my co-founder, Harold Hofer, who was one of the first pioneers in real estate crowdfunding. He actually started a company called Rich Uncles in 2012, and they were pretty successful, and he actually sold the company in 2019. Now, he realized that, they started real estate crowdfunding before the market was really there for it, before Robinhood existed and Acorns existed and all of these wealth building platforms existed. And they did target a different demographic, an older demographic. So when he saw this trend happen that he was kind of early on, he realized that now is actually a more prime time to launch a platform like this. But instead of focusing on an older audience, what was missing was the focus on the next generation, the millennials and the Gen Xers, who are going to control wealth in this country as they get older and take over the workforce. And that was really where the market was, and that was where the opportunity was, and also the need for the product. And through Reg A, which is a way that we're allowed to now reach investors at a lower increment, and they don't have to be millionaires. We were able to do that. So that was the idea, and that's where it started. And he had done it before, but really now is about messaging and really speaking directly to that target audience, and not hoping they catch on by really talking to their parents.
And let's hope that the SEC does change the rules, because Reg A is prohibited in 7 states, which is a bit of a pain. New Jersey being one of them. So I'm like, come on. But anyway, and as someone who has lived and died numerous times on the bleeding edge as a first mover to market, where you've got to do the evangelism and education, and then, oh, by the way, here comes the product. I get it. And I really applaud what you're doing. It's not easy. So tell us about how you personally, Sachin, have changed to this journey since you founded Elevate Money.
For me, it's become actually more of a mission than a business. I've had a career in Wall Street. I've worked for the big corporations, and been successful myself. I learned a lot, met a lot of people, but at the end of the day, there's no heart in that. There's no purpose in that. It gets old, it gets draining. And with Elevate, I think I found a new life and something of that to work on that's really bigger than me or any benefit to me. It's being able to share all of the experiences, the knowledge that I had from Wall Street and in finance with people who don't have access to that, who don't have that education, don't have that knowledge or the avenue to get it. And to me, that is really exciting, because I think it's going to change the world, not just, in real estate, across the platform, across investments, across education, that, we can share our skills, our knowledge, and our access to a lot more people. And when you do that, you shift the power. You take it and you put it back into people's hands and give people the ability to take control of their own lives. And to me, that's just an exciting thing to be a part of. And even though we're only doing it in one aspect in terms of real estate, it's an important part. Your finances are an important part of that. So it's super exciting. And I think I've changed in terms of the purpose and the drive and the reasoning behind why I'm doing this. And it's been, I've just felt a lot more alive.
What's your kryptonite?
My kryptonite, that would definitely be getting really excited about a lot of different ideas and wanting to do everything at once. And, I think you realize it's also, a challenge you have to work through as a founder or, doing a startup is you have to have your North Star, and you have to know what that vision is, and you have to stay true to that and not get distracted, while also being able to be flexible and make quick decisions and change with the market and take advantage of things that come to you. But you got to say no to a lot more things than you would like to do.
You and I are cut from the same cloth. As someone who formerly suffered from bright, shiny new object syndrome, I am not quite a master, actually far from a master, but every day I practice ruthless prioritization, and it's killing me, but I know it's necessary.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm a 5-year-old. In one sentence, tell me why I need Elevate Money.
You need Elevate Money so that you have the ability to take power into your own hands, control your own future and your own destiny, and have access to investment products that were otherwise only available, for the uber wealthy.
All right. Now let's flip this thing around. So let's dig way into your past, in the dark side of Wall Street. Lots of great cafes down there, but, short of that, tell me what you would change. And that just one thing, if I said, here, Sachin, I'm giving you an undo button. You get to hit it once and you get to change one thing in your personal or professional life. What do you change?
That's a really good question. And, I think if I were to change any one particular thing, let's stick to my career, it would be, I would have probably stayed on the same company instead of moving to and working at several different ones. Now there's benefits to that. I got to meet a lot more people. I think I opened up my mind. So in some ways, maybe not, but in essence, I think that consistency, there's a value in consistency, and there's a value in sort of, the same thing we think about real estate and Elevate, where if you stick with it and it's a long-term plan and you invest month over month and reinvest your dividends, you compound that growth. And after a longer period of time, you're like, wow, how did it turn into all of that? But if you're going in and out or moving around, and chasing again some of these different objects, you lose that consistency. And then when you end up down the road, you actually might end up with less than you would have otherwise. So I think that was the key lesson for me. And I'm using that lesson with Elevate. So we plan to be here for a long time.
Okay, fantastic. As an entrepreneur, you're going to encounter this, that, and everything else, right? Depends on the day, but something's always on fire. So in this journey so far of entrepreneurship, what threw you for a loop that you were just totally ill prepared for? And you went, oh my, what the what? How do I deal with this now?
Yeah. So in this journey so far, I think the biggest thing that threw me for a loop is, having a marketing background, and my role as CMO here is sharing the message and letting people know what we're doing. And through all the red tape and the regulation, really having your hands tied behind your back in this kind of gunfight that's happening is a very, very challenging job. So for me, that's been the biggest thing. I never understood all the intricacies about every little word that has to get scrutinized before you can say it, and how it can be misconstrued. And those challenges, I think, from someone who likes to speak, who likes to share, who gets excited about their story, have to find a way to tone that back and do it in a more systematic way. And that's definitely been a challenge. It continues to be a challenge. But I do think the world is evolving. I do think that, the regulatory bodies are starting to understand that to provide access to everybody, we do have to communicate what these products are and their benefits, and obviously, protect them as well.
All right. So you're a messenger type of guy, right? It's all about the message. So this question should be easy for you, but I know it's not, because it throws my guests for a loop. If you took on the role as a journalist and 5 years from now, you are writing the headline, Sachin Jhangiani, what? ... What's the headline?
Sachin Jhangiani was someone who persevered and expanded on all of his challenges and gave back and created something bigger than himself.
Love it. All right. So with that, let's turn things around. How can our audience help you?
Well, all I would ask them to do is visit our site, elevate.money. It's not a .com, it's just elevate.money. Learn about what we're doing. If they have the ability, take an interest, consider investing even with as little as $100 in our portfolio of real estate assets, and see what happens. We pay dividends on a monthly basis, and see where their money is over the course of the year, especially if it's sitting in a savings account that's earning less than 0.5% over the entire year. Why not put that in something that that's backed by a hard asset, that gets the value of a portfolio and pays a much higher dividend where you can grow your money. So especially in today's times, I think with inflation skyrocketing, where you put your money and how you invest it is becoming more and more important, because basically what inflation means is that that's what you lose every year. So if you're not making at least that, even if you have savings, saved $100, you didn't do anything with it, at the end of the year, you have $94 of inflation, 6%. So that's something to consider, and just educate yourself and see what we're all about.
Okay. Elevate.money. Remember, one of those funky domains, because all the .coms are taken, right? So we need to look elsewhere and get a little more creative. All right. Last question. And this is my signature question. And this one is fun. We are going into your closet, and you are going to point us out to a pair of shoes or boots, some kind of footwear that represents your personality. Tell us what that footwear looks like and why it embodies who you are.
Great question, because I just got a new pair of shoes / sneakers, and they are called Tropic Feels. And so it's a plug for this brand. And what I love about these shoes is they are comfortable, easy, but they can handle all weather, all storms. They don't break down, and you can wear them through every occasion, from something cool and fancy to going hiking. And so it's the versatility and the perseverance of these shoes that I think embodies who I am as a person as well.
They are shoes designed for an entrepreneur. This is what you're telling us, right?
Yes.
All right. So with that, we'll wrap things up here. Thank you so much to Sachin Jhangiani, founder of Elevate Money, democratizing access to real estate investment. So I ask everyone, be sure to subscribe to our show. And if you like it, hey, throw 4 or 5 stars our way, because it helps us and it helps all of our guests. Thank you so much, Sachin.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?